What has the governor achieved over the last 4 years he's been in office, and how does this move the economy forward? Here in Bayelsa State, asking investors to bring in more money into the economy and set a new pace for the next 4 years of this state of this economy. So let's bring in Tibipre Sepulu, who is a special advisor to the governor on Treasury and accounts. Good morning to you. We appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming. And thanks for hosting us here at the show. We must thank you very much for coming through on the program. A very interesting way to start the conversation was, what has Governor Dixon Seriake achieved in 4 years that you could therefore ask investors to bring more money into the state?
When we look at that question, what he has achieved within 4 years is quite a wide question because we have infrastructure, we have educational projects and all of that. But let me try to look at it from one perspective. And that perspective, especially when we're talking about investment, is transparency. What we have emphasized, because for any investor to come into Bayelsa, we believe they would want not only infrastructural improvement, but there's element of transparency within the system. And that is what we've done for some time. And the fact that the monthly transparency briefing is being done by the state government is something that we have consistently done over the 3.5 years we've been here. And what we've been trying to do is to tell Bayelsans and the world how much comes in and how we have spent that money, and try to open up not only transparency, a lot of activities we are doing within the system. We are putting all of them up, like the payroll processes, the expenditure processes, and all of these. We're trying to open them up so that people will see what is happening. And in addition to that, we are also looking at various legislations, which have already gone to the Assembly, to now put institutional force to the changes we are actually achieving.
Transparency, accountability in public finance, that's what you're talking about. People want to know how money is being spent, what comes in. Investors are very, very keen about if we're doing business in Bayelsa, for example. We'll talk about some of the infrastructure and other projects the Governor Seriake has done, but talk to us about doing business in Bayelsa State.
When the most important thing in doing business sometimes is when you come to an environment and you don't know the legislations that affect business, especially revenue laws, taxes, and all of that that are operating within the environment. Now, we are looking at that in two phases. The first phase is we want to identify, codify, put all the legislations relating to doing business in one basket. For instance, the investment house, the BDIC and all of that, and the Board of Internal Revenue, we're coming up with a document, like a one-stop point, where if you are a business person, as you come into the town, if you take that document, you know all the business regulations that affect business. And we also tell you all the laws, personal income taxes and any other law that affect business in that place. Then we're also looking at it that if you are coming into town, because one thing is knowing what operates. So people don't come to you, harass you for charges, levies that you cannot understand where they are coming from. And so we have done a lot to ensure that we standardize all levies and charges, taxes in the state, all of them should put in one house, and so that no individual will come to Bayelsa and get harassed, or somebody comes to your office, why are you opening these? Those things, we must remove that as much as well. The environment must be friendly. The environment must be friendly for business to work. And that's
in terms of one of the things that investors want to see has to do with integrity of contracts, for example. And so from the infrastructure and other projects that this administration, Governor Seriake's administration has done, what confidence is there for new investors about the integrity of contracts so that you don't sign one document today and tomorrow it says, no, sorry, you don't have such a permit, you don't have such a contract any longer?
That too, because we work in a system where most of the ministries work very closely together. In this state, there is no real contracts that's executed that does not go through the Ministry of Justice. So we have a central point where all major contract signs are there, so that the Attorney General makes his input, whether this discussion, this contract deals with works, whether it deals with finance or any other ministry. The Attorney General's office is the nucleus around which all of this takes place, so that when things are happening, we know. And one other thing the governor has said is, for us to bring investors, we definitely know that in business, your yes is your bond. Your word is your bond.
Your word is your bond.
Once you have said this is what we are doing, even if you have made an error in signing a document, because when you are doing a document, probably you might have shifted something that you, with second thought, you say, no, we shouldn't have shifted like this. But as long as the state, we've signed a document, we will definitely honor that document to the latter.
Okay. But let's now talk about a few things about the state itself. Let's talk about the state capital. I was here about 2 years ago, 2012 to be precise, and I'm back yesterday evening, and I saw for the first time a flyover in Bayelsa, yes, with a very big roundabout. They're looking a little bit like downtown Lagos. You want to turn Yenagoa into Lekki, Victoria Island in Lagos. Was that your aim? This is our aim.
Like we are saying, as a state, we are a revenue profile. We looked at it from the input aspect of it. That is the hotel business and all of that. And for you to do that, for people to come in as investors, for people to come in to use your hotels, the heavy investment we are making in hotels, the environment must be very safe. The environment must be safe and it must be conducive. For instance, if you go to some cities around Yenagoa, let's say some other cities around, you can drive around the town because of bad roads, congested cities, and the rest of it. So if we put a lot of investment in Bayelsa, Yenagoa, people will come in, would like to come in because you can easily drive to your location at any time, no traffic, they are very, very easy to drive around, security is there. And so somebody will say, why do I want to give myself so much trouble in some of those cities? I'd rather come to Yenagoa and have a so our target is to make Yenagoa, like you said, probably a beautiful city like Lagos, Port Harcourt.
But there are some reports that there are increasing number of armed robbery cases in Bayelsa State, in Yenagoa. Is that true? And what are you doing about that?
Yeah. If we look at where we came from before this government came in, when there were reports almost on a daily basis of assassinations and all of that, even what we have today, we will say at least there may be a little increase or whatever, but it's still far, far different from where we came from. But what we are also looking at is that some of these could be related to the political activities coming up. Elections are coming up, and so you see a lot of criminals trying to come in and thinking that they can still come back and turn the place back. But I think that they will not succeed, because our security investments and security forces, and I think they are doing a lot of work to ensure that they are all up to the challenge. And we believe the security situation will still be the way we have put it.
One of the things that investors will look at, apart from security, safety of life and property, investing in Bayelsa State, will be the level of infrastructure beyond the state capital, which is beginning to look ultra-modern in a number of areas. Now, if I travel as an investor out of Yenagoa, what will I see as a basis for investing in the state?
The funny part of it is this. Our investment in Yenagoa, for instance, when you come to Yenagoa, you say, look, there is so much being done. The proportion of our projects in Yenagoa is small compared to the other sections. For instance, the 3 senatorial roads being executed are not in Yenagoa. The sport complexes, the football academy, and all of that are not in Yenagoa. So a lot of projects are not even in Yenagoa. They are in the, for instance, the state, the local government headquarters and all of that. Our target is we are going to improve all of the places. For instance, if you take the example of school projects, we have over 600 school projects. But if you look at it, the number we are doing even in Yenagoa is a very small proportion. So some people look at the Yenagoa school and say, but a lot of them are in the, because every village should have a project. That's our project, our plan. So what you see in Yenagoa is a small portion of what the revolution that we are taking up in Bayelsa.
Very interesting conversation with you, Mr. Saipulu. Let's round up for about 1 minute, and we're going to end up in your department, which has to do with treasury and accounts. We'll go back to the issue of transparency, accountability, and, well, anti-corruption. Let me put it that way. Now, talk to us about the last part of that. Do you think, or is the state of finance and accounts in Bayelsa State transparent? Are there cases of corruption within the system?
When Dixon came, one of his cardinal principles was to address corruption. And so you cannot say you can pull corruption out 100%, but it's a continuum. It's a continuum, and you move on and you try to improve the situation as much as possible. And what the approach we also took is this. When you look at corruption, there are 2 aspects. Finding the thief and making it more difficult to have access to funds. We emphasized making it more difficult to have access. And that is why we are putting the structures in such a place that it's more difficult for anybody. Because even if you want to, if you have an intention to corrupt yourself, and the asset, because we are talking about cash, it's not easily available. The opportunity is not there, you can't have it. For instance, look at our salary processes. We are putting it so transparent that you can go online and be able to know who has been paid salary.
Do you have ghost workers in Bayelsa State?
We've addressed it. So for those most 90%, we have pulled most of the ghost workers out because we carried out verification. We have the verification, including the fingerprints, facial reviews, and each of these fingerprints is sent to secure ID to give ID cards. And each of these cards, which are bank cards, also have the fingerprint of the workers. And then the processes are put into the Oracle software. Oracle, which is one of the best financial softwares we have in industry. That's what we do. The HR process is also produced through the Oracle software. From that point, we make salary payments online through the bank directly, through SoftPay. So it means that every of this information, the names of these people, all your workers, you can see them, the pictures, you can see their telephone numbers, you can call to confirm if this person. Then, in addition to that, we went beyond that to just verify. We also went to attendance. Our workers, especially in Yenagoa, sign attendance. So you must come to work.
When they come in the morning,
yes, they come in the morning
for the day.
And they close, they put the attendance machines and sign in.
But making sure no ghost comes to the office.
No way. So if you, and those who don't come to work for over 4 days, we hold your salary. Because if you do not come to work for over 4 days and you do not have a proper approval, you don't earn your salary.
Very interesting.
And that is what we have done.
I hope we have more time to talk more before the end of tomorrow,
yes.
where the conference ends. Thank you very much for coming on the program.